What'd you see on film that you couldn't see from the sidelines?
Not much different. Like our effort just consistently over 40 minutes has to get better. We can't have 5-6 possessions where we have guys standing around defensively. And some of it we need to get in better shape because some of our guys aren't playing as hard as they need to. And as a staff, we need to be able to see that. We need to get them out of the game. Defensively, if they're tired, we got to get them out of the game. But we have to have other guys stepping up to be able to come in the game with some energy so we can give guys rest. And I think we have enough depth and numbers to do that. And so we're going to have to continue, just to really hone in on that, really competing every single possession. You can't take a possession off.
Just give me an idea, maybe people watching this, when you're watching film and guys are standing around and they're not doing what they're supposed to. Do you have to say anything or do they know it?
We still say something. Like we're having a film session even again today at 4:30 to kind of recap the game and show a lot of the good things we did too. Because even though we haven't shot a great percentage, like we're getting the shots we're supposed to get. We just got to knock them down. Like we have some times where we have great ball movement, making one-mores, getting a teammate a shot, and they haven't fallen. But like I know they're going to. But all I can ask for them and our staff is to get the best shot for University of Washington that possession down. And we've been getting pretty good looks. We have to finish better. Like I said, we were 13 of 30, on layups, against UMass Lowell. And overall, like analytically, we're one of the worst in the country at finishing. And we're getting good looks, and that's just focus. Our guys, we know we can knock them down. But, usually you don't have to say too much. Like they know, but like we still have to make sure we tell them to make sure it gets through that they know.
Just in terms of the defense, though, it feels like like your personality is like starting to form. Like you guys, you get a lot of blocks and you make steals. So is the defensive identity forming, or is it kind of harder when you don't have sort of Frank in there?
It's getting better. It's easier when Frank's in there because you have a big time rim presence that change. Even if he's not blocking shots, he was changing shots. And then even from our rebounding presence, he still needed to get better rebounding the ball because I think he could be a double-figure rebounder. But now we do have to adjust. I'm not huge on block shots. Like Tyler's done a really good job of blocking shots without fouling on the ball, which is hard to do. But I'm more of a chest up, make them score over us. Usually if a block shot comes, it comes from a help side defender, coming over where Frank was really good at that. But I'd rather be disciplined and make them score over us because we're going to play against some teams where the second you jump, they're going to jump into you, and now they're shooting 2 free throws. And so, we still have to get a little better positionally.
And with Frank, any update?
No, I should hopefully have some more update actually by this afternoon. Mm-hmm.
And then just after that last game, you said that, just in terms of everything's on the table, in terms of your starting lineup, do you do anything there?
Yeah, we're going to see how this week plays out with competition and production. Because at the end of the day, it's just production. Like when you get your chance on the court, you have to produce, or I can't play you. And I gotta look for other guys to fill those voids with energy or toughness. But when you're on the court, you have to produce. And so, I expect to change something.
And then just to that, like, is it a big deal because you said that these things will change, like, like who starts on Friday may not be who starts in 2 weeks, but for players, so sometimes it's a big deal for them. So.
Yeah, it is a big deal for some of them, but at the end of the day, like only 5 guys can start and 5 guys can finish the game, and I'd rather be one of those guys that finishes the game, even though this generation doesn't always think like that. But it's at the end of the day. Like, minutes are going to start being distributed by production, and that's the only way to separate. Like when you get your chance on the court, you have to produce. You better be executing the scout details of the scouting report. Offensively, you better be making the right basketball play. When it's your turn to knock down a shot, you better knock down a shot. When it's your turn to make a layup, you better make a layup. And that's the way to stay on the court. If you're not doing those things, I got to keep that revolving door until I find some continuity where somebody is playing hard and takes a hold of that spot.
On Friday, with Great down low, I didn't think that they had anybody who could handle him. How do you balance just giving...
On Friday.
Sunday.
A Sunday, yeah.
Friday was the football game.
Yeah.
I didn't think they had anybody who could handle him, and it just seemed like if he wasn't finishing strong, they were fouling him as well. How do you balance, getting him the ball and getting him the ball too much? Because, like I said, he looked like he could do what he wanted down below.
He did, and he did a great job. Sometimes I think he's playing for the foul too much because he does get fouled a lot. So, like, he's almost expecting it, so he's trying to initiate that contact too, which I don't mind. But sometimes I think it all of a sudden now when that contact doesn't come, that's why he's missing some of those layups, is he's looking for the contact instead of keeping his eyes on the glass and going and finishing. Because he's more than capable of finishing and still playing through the contact and getting fouled, which is what we need him to start doing. But it is, and he's gonna keep getting the same attention. Teams are gonna double team him. They're gonna pack the paint, and that's where other guys are gonna get shots off it.
Louis Courtwright earned more playing time.
It's awesome. Yeah, no question he did, and he's been great in practice too. His energy, his voice has been terrific, which is what we need because he's capable of doing that. In the summer, he was one of our best leaders, like vocally every day, and for whatever reason in the fall he hasn't matched that. And so I kind of challenged him last week to bring that back, and look what happened. Look how he played. And it was all just his energy, his energy and sometimes like forcing the issue. I want Louis to force the issue. When he's aggressive, we're a better team and he's a better player. And I expect that now from him every day out.
And you sat a couple of your starters and, Louis was in there. What does that make them? I'm guessing it makes them want to play harder, but what's it going to take to kind of even things out? And you don't have a problem sitting guys.
No, because we don't have separation yet. It's hard to know who to play when somebody's not taking a hold of the position. If somebody's playing with great energy and effort and executing the game plan and knocking down shots, it's hard to take them out of the game. And if you look at the last game, Zoom and Louis played terrific. Tyler Harris played terrific. So they earned those minutes. And now it's up to other guys. Like I said, if you're not happy sitting on the bench, then play better. Execute better. Defend better. Go rebound. Make toughness plays. That's the best way to get off the bench.
With Louis and Zoom playing as well as they did together, is that becoming a pairing maybe?
I don't know. It was one game. But the one thing I do like about both of them is they're big physical downhill guards. They can post you. They can score at the rim. They're two of our better finishers. And it puts a lot of pressure on the defense, having those two out there.
Hey, just other than having DJ take every free throw, how do you guys get better as a free throw shooting team?
Yeah, guys just gotta, we gotta put in some work, in the off hours. They gotta come in at night or in the morning before practice, just to get confident because they're all capable of doing it. And it's just it's a mindset and it's a confidence when you get up to that free throw line.
And then just in terms of the offense, is the offensive identity sort of forming? Do you?
No, and in fact, it's changed a lot. In the last week. When we didn't have Frank. So now we have to play some more 5 out. 4 out, 1 in, spreading people, driving it. Playing 4 guards at times, playing Tyler Harris at the 4, playing Wilhelm more at the 5. Now Wilhelm can be kind of a stretch 5. Which is really hard to guard. Kind of like some of the teams we played, some of the smaller teams, it's hard for big guys to chase guys out on the perimeter that can shoot, and that's where Wilhelm's strength is. And so there'll be a bunch of different lineups, and we're gonna have to work more kind of with our small ball lineup for the time being.
And again, it's only been 4 games. It feels like we'll say that kind of over and over. But just in these 4 games, what have you seen in Zoom? He's with freshmen, they kind of go all over the place. But just what have you seen from him?
Yeah, I love like I said, for a freshman, I think he's played really well. The first couple games, against Davis, I thought his energy was terrific. Nevada, he got in a little bit of foul trouble, but even last game, he played great. He's made some really good passes. I think he really sees the floor. He's starting to advance the ball in transition, and pitching the ball up the floor, which we can play fast when he was in there. But I love how he's playing. I think he's finished really well. When he's driving down the lane, he's had some great finishes. Even against contact. On a couple times, I think he got fouled. They didn't get the call, but he's done a great job finishing through contact. And just the more he gets on the court, the more comfortable he's going to be because we need him to be, we need his body and his size and his IQ, for us to be as good as we can be as a team.
If you could see one area of improvement on Friday, what would it be?
Our ball and body movement offensively. Sometimes we're a little stagnant. Like sometimes instead of passing and cutting or going screening, we just stand, and now our spacing's kind of jumbled up. But that and finishing, finishing at the rim, we gotta improve that from an offensive standpoint. Defensively, sometimes we get too spread out. We're still chasing our guy too much instead of guarding the basketball. Like we call it shrinking the floor. Like if you have the ball, we got to have ball pressure. We got to have two guys in the gaps and two guys behind them. I want the ball handler to always see 6 eyes. The guy guarding him and the two guys in the gap, so he always, it doesn't feel like there's any room to penetrate. And so we got to get better shrinking the floor and really protecting the paint.
New coach, new system, everything's new. Game 4, you're coming up on game 5, and I'm sure game 20 is going to look different. How long will it take them to get to the point where they have that cohesiveness that they will later on in the season? How far away are you from that?
I don't know. I still feel like we're a long ways away from it, because now we're going to play some different lineups and play smaller at times. But it's a great question. I wish I knew the answer to it. Hopefully, the sooner the better. Hopefully, it's by game 8. Hopefully, it's by game 6. That we really start formulating and knowing our rotations and kind of getting down to that 8-9 guy rotation. It's too hard when you're playing 12, 13 guys. Guys got to step up and produce when they're on the court, and that way we kind of get our rotations and who's subbing in and out. And that way guys know when they're going to be playing and they're just more comfortable playing.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much history between Washington and Alcorn State. Just a quick sort of scouting report on them, and just how did this game sort of come about?
Yeah, just a quick athletic team. They got some players that can go one-on-one and score it. So we have to do a really good job. Not fouling, not being undisciplined, and we have to do the same thing. Like we got to pound the paint. We got to either by post feeds or we got to drive it and get out in transition because I think that's when we're best. This game came about. It's part of the MTE that we're playing in Palm Springs next week. And so with that, we get one home game. And then, so it's basically a 3-game deal, but we're only playing 2 down in Palm Springs against Colorado State. And then we'll play either TCU or Santa Clara. Mm-hmm.
Questions?
You got it.